Our indicators are now moving all in the correct direction, which is down.
Now at 6, a new victory in the city's battle against coronavirus, the challenges that still lie ahead, and when social distancing could relax. Plus, the food frustration in New Jersey as struggling families wait in the rain for food, many of them turned away empty-handed. And pandemic red tape that has caused a home renovation nightmare. The family refused sewage service because it was deemed not essential. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. I'm Natalie Pasquarella. Well, it's a rare green streak in New York City in the pandemic battle. Infection indicators are down, hospitalizations, ICU admissions, and the amount of people testing positive all down. But that will need to continue for up to 2 weeks for social distancing to loosen up. Well, the statewide rate of infection is slowing in the state of New Jersey. The state says new hospitalizations are down, ICU admissions are flat, and discharges continue to climb. Governor Phil Murphy has signed an executive order allowing New Jersey renters to use their security deposits for rent, as many folks are struggling to pay it. I want to talk about U.S. deaths now. They've surpassed 50,000, almost half of those in the tri-state area. 23,543 lives lost from this virus. Almost 400,000 people infected. Tonight, we want to go to News 4's Andrew Siff, starting things off live in East Harlem with the latest, including, Andrew, some new options for testing.
Right, Natalie, there has been criticism in recent weeks that it's been hard to get tested if you live in one of New York City's poorest neighborhoods. Well, they have now expanded that capability not only at community testing centers, but also a new initiative where they are literally going door to door, one apartment at a time. At Jackson Houses in the Bronx, a team called Ready Responders going door to door. Once inside, they offer on-site COVID testing, a new option for those who don't feel well and can't stand in line waiting for a test.
People will call us, they think they have a sore throat, fatigue, fever, shortness of breath, and then we do a secondary screening once we get to their house.
I like the cutter from the outside, from the community.
Then there's Dr. Zevi Hamburger at Mount Sinai, recovered from COVID, back working in the ICU, even donating valuable plasma to help treat patients.
I have a lot of hope. I think that this is going to make us come out a lot stronger.
Today, the mayor said all the incremental progress adds up to something encouraging. Those green arrows pointing down, that means fewer hospitalizations, ICU admissions, and a lower percentage of those tested with coronavirus. This graph makes it even more dramatic. The smallest number of new patients admitted to city hospitals in weeks.
Today, I am happy to say we have just plain good news.
But the mayor says the city needs 10 straight days of declining numbers before it can start loosening restrictions. And the governor said he'll decide next week whether to extend the statewide shutdown past May 15th.
Dear Mr. Cuomo,
an poignant moment today when the governor read a letter from a man in Kansas.
I am a retired farmer hunkered down in northeast Kansas with my wife, who has but one lung. Enclosed, find a solitary N95 mask.
We spoke by phone with the farmer whose generosity made an impression.
When I closed the mailbox lid, I thought, well, this is the way it should be, probably. They sent it on its merry way and kind of hoped that it would do some good.
You want to talk about a snapshot of humanity. One mask to New York to help a nurse or a doctor. How beautiful is that? I mean, how selfless is that?
Governor Cuomo also said today he'll decide next week whether to extend that New York pause past May 15th. He'll also make a decision on whether schools are closed for the rest of the year. We're live on the Upper East Side. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
All right, Andrew, thank you. We are now about a week out from rent being due for May, and Mayor de Blasio is pushing to protect New Yorkers who just can't pay it. The mayor wants the city's rent guidelines board to pass a rent freeze for roughly 2 million tenants. He'd also like the state to step in and allow people to use their security deposits as a backup plan. Governor Cuomo says that's up to the city and not Albany. And the governor plans to sign an executive order that would send all registered New York State voters a postage-paid absentee absentee ballot application for the state's June primary elections. But this is just an option. We're told the governor is saying polls will still be open for New Yorkers who would rather cast their ballot in person. Let's talk about New Jersey now. The state has surpassed 100,000 confirmed cases, surging over 3,000. Deaths are now at 5,617 people. And today, tens of thousands of meals were gone just in 1 hour. They were handed out in East Rutherford to families who are struggling. And we know that dozens of people had to be turned away. News 4's Chris Glorioso in East Rutherford with the frustrations families are facing to make ends meet.
Here at the Meadowlands YMCA, they handed out 26,000 meals this morning, but dozens of drivers still left empty-handed, and some of them said we need to open the economy soon or people could go hungry.
People that have a lot of money, those people are probably saying, oh, okay, it's, stay home, it's easy. But for us, we are barely, making it. It's tough.
Freddie Novello is one of those who got to this food distribution line too late. The Meadowlands YMCA ran out after giving away 650 boxes packed with 40 meals each. Novello is an underemployed HVAC worker who says it's getting so bad he's having to choose between paying the bills and feeding his family.
I was working every day. Now I'm just like 1 day, 2 days. And it sucks because, if we don't work, we don't have money.
The COVID crisis has prompted close to 20% of New Jersey's workforce to file for unemployment benefits. Those lost jobs now putting extreme pressure on food pantries. But Governor Murphy has said restrictions, including economic restrictions, are at least weeks away from being lifted.
I am not in a position yet to begin fully putting our state on the road back. We need to see more progress.
I was let go since March 15th and trying to get unemployment.
Awilda Perez, a laid-off airline employee, arrived to the East Rutherford food line too late to get her donation box. She told us she was headed to Patterson in hopes another distribution site would have supplies left.
If we go there and we get something, at least we're going to have something to keep us alive for a few days, not hungry.
The New Jersey Community Food Bank partnered with the Meadowlands YMCA for today's food distribution event. Consider this. The food bank says even before the pandemic, about 900,000 New Jerseyans suffered from food insecurity. Now they say their partners are witnessing a 50% increase in food across the state. Reporting from East Rutherford, Chris Glorioso, News 4 New York.
In Connecticut, hospitalizations in the state are down, but the total number of cases and deaths still rising. Many barber shops and salons are wondering if they can open on maybe just a one-on-one basis. When asked about this, Governor Lamont said that testing, masks, and temperature monitors could all play a part in slowly reopening salons if the numbers keep on dropping.
A few different ways we can, get to a place where they can open up on a selective basis, and we're going to have more direction on that from the task force, I think, within the next week or two.
He also encouraged residents to help local restaurants by placing their orders for delivery, while the state looks for ways to work with those restaurants to improve the food supply for the folks most in need. Let's talk about a dream home renovation that's turned into a nightmare for one Long Island family. It's almost finished, but pandemic red tape is keeping them out. Town officials won't hook up their sewage because it's deemed not essential. News 4's Paisley Chang is in Port Washington. Paisley, with the alternative, they could be putting their safety at risk.
Everything's furnished, everything's all there. I even have some toys here.
A tour of Juliet Sun Park's home today is a far cry from what it looked like when she started to rebuild her Port Washington home. But she and her family can't move in because the town of North Hempstead won't let them finish the final part of their renovation.
Because it's for the sewage line that connects our home to the main sewage line, we have to dig and replace the pipes that are currently existing, and we have to upgrade it.
And that is what the town of North Hempstead will not allow. The parks are caught in red tape created by the pandemic and the shutdown.
This is the most drastic action we can take.
According to Governor Cuomo's executive order, wastewater is considered essential infrastructure, so related work like sewers can continue. Juliet says she has seen other sewage work being done around town. When she asked the town of North Hempstead why that was allowed, she was told that because her and her family don't yet live in this house, that work isn't considered essential.
But it's the decision of the town to not approve additional projects or additional anything and not allow people to continue work, in essence, unless it fits their bill of what's essential.
A spokesman for the town says they need to consider the health of their employees and residents, and that the home does not have inspections for safety, carbon monoxide, smoke detection, or even confirming the home was built to plan. There is no certificate of completion to occupy. Therefore, given the pandemic, a sewer connection is not essential at this time. Juliet says she can't get those inspections until the sewer line is connected. Meanwhile, her family is living in a relative's house, 12 people altogether, one of them a doctor treating COVID patients in the hospital, bringing possible virus exposure back home every day.
For us to be safe as a family and to keep others safe, like my in-laws, it's best for us to move in here.
In Port Washington, Paisley Cheng, News 4 New York.